You cannot defend that which you do not know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second part in my video series where we go over all of your rights in the Bill of Rights as an American citizen. You know, sometimes we tell people, we say, hey, listen, I know my rights, but a lot of times we're bluffing. We really don't. And that's why I tell you, you cannot defend that which you do not know. So last video, we talked about the First Amendment and the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment. This video, we're talking about the Second Amendment, which is one of the most, that's a highly politicized, man, this is one of the most misunderstood and violated parts of the entire United States Constitution. Let's look at the language. What does it actually say in the Second Amendment? Well, the Second Amendment, as you can read here, says a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But what does infringed mean, right? We see that at the very end there. What does infringed mean? Well, let's look at the definition of infringed. Infringed. I'm going to read the second definition here. Act so as to limit or undermine something or encroach on. Well, ask yourself this. Does every single firearm law in the United States that limits your access to a firearm, does that not fit the definition of infringe? Well, of course it fits the definition of infringe, which makes you wonder, why then is such a simple to understand little paragraph there? It's not even a full paragraph, it's an extended sentence. Why is that so difficult for our politicians to comprehend? Or are they choosing to violate it? I believe that they are choosing to violate knowingly. They are choosing to knowingly violate our Second Amendment. Well, folks, our founding fathers, the reason they wrote the Second Amendment is they had just won a Revolutionary War. The battles of Lexington and Concord, the shot heard round the world, were you aware that those were fought over munitions depots? Lexington and Concord were where they held the guns and ammo. The British came for their guns and ammo, and that was the shot heard round the world. When our patriot founding fathers stood up, the Minutemen gathered, and they shot back when the Brits came to take their guns. The founding fathers were very well aware. They knew the importance of being well armed. They had just fought an entire Revolutionary War, and they knew tyranny could come in many forms. It could come from our own government turning tyrannical. It could be a Red Dawn, North Korea, or Chinese invasion. It could be any form of tyranny. But our Second Amendment is what stands between us, the American citizens, and tyranny, including from our own government, which I'm going to hit you with a little question here, a little pop quiz. When in history were the people who disarmed the dictators, the, Pol Pot, etc., those folks, when they disarmed their citizens, when were they ever the good guys? Never. Never. When government disarms its people, it's probably because they're about to do something for which the people would shoot them. So why do those in power, Republican and Democrat, why do they continue to violate our constitutional right? Very clearly written. The founding fathers could not have been more express whenever they wrote the Second Amendment. It wasn't something that was written ambiguously in a way that could be, easily misunderstood. It's very clear language. Very, very clear language. So why then do so many in office decide to violate it? Because they do not want you to be able to fight back if they choose to become tyrannical. Anyone in government, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. We know this. Our own government is not somehow immune. They are not perfect. They're not sinless human beings. They have power, and they don't want us to have a check and balance. Everybody talks about checks and balances. Well, yeah, there's checks and balances between branches of government. There's checks and balances between levels of government, but the final check and balance is a check that we, the people, have on our government called our Second Amendment. If they go outside of their, constitutional reigns, the Second Amendment is there on purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me in this one. I know it's a very short, sweet, and simple. The Second Amendment is short, sweet, and simple, and there's not a whole lot I have to explain to you folks, but I do understand one thing, and that is, boy, you better not let them take your guns. I will see you on the next part. It's the Third Amendment of the United States Constitution. Kind of an interesting one, and a lot of people don't even know what it is. So stick around, and I tell you what, if you do know the Third Amendment, drop in the comments what it is, and I will see you when we make that one finally. Y'all take care, and God bless.